Hello and welcome to the RDA. Welcome to your Manchester United news roundup. And we shall start with the superstar Benfica striker himself, Darwin Nunez, with the Mirror reporting that Benfica are looking for about 100 million for Darwin Nunez. And you know what? As soon as I read the story, I thought to myself, Benfica can shove Darwin Nunez where the sun don't shine. Because I'm not having it. I am not having it. We are not paying 100 million for the striker. That is absurd, to say the least. You know, I mean, he's a good player, but 100 million, 100 million. Come on, you know. If the price can come down, maybe for me to at least a 70. I feel like it can even go worse. You know, I feel like a 60 million wouldn't be too bad. You know, I mean, like he's a good player, but come on, 100 million is a bit ridiculous. So I'm not having that. You know, and there's also reports that the fact that his agent is George Mendes, who's also agent of Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, it's kind of making talks and I guess negotiation for us a little bit easier, you know. I guess maybe not that much easier because they want 100 million, but it's making talks and negotiations a little bit easier because we have a route to him because his agent is George Mendes, who's also the agent of Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno. So yeah, something to watch there, Darwin Nunez. We clearly want him. You know, he's a sort-out striker at the moment. I mean, he did very well last season. I don't know his numbers, don't ask me. But he's clearly someone who is on our list. You know, someone we're looking to come in to be the backup to Cristiano Ronaldo. But for God's sake, not 100 million. I ain't having it. And if they want 100 million, I would rather have the next player we're going to talk about, which is Christian Nkunku, who had a phenomenal season last season. He had a phenomenal... Let me just get his numbers. They were amazing. I think it was about 30 goals and 20 assists, if I'm not mistaken. I'll confirm it for you right now. But yeah, 35 goals. Sorry, I said 30. 35 goals, 20 assists for Christian Nkunku last season. And that is phenomenal. And you know what? For me, between Darwin Nunez and Christian Nkunku is my choice. He's my choice. I know a lot of people want Darwin Nunez because he is a classic number 9, you know, the target man, you know. He looks like someone who can be our, you know, number 9 for years and years to come. I think that whole image people really like, you know. But this player is great. You know. And not so long ago, if you asked me about this player, I knew about him. But if you asked me about this player 2 seasons ago, I would be like, oh, he's a 10, you know. He's a good young player who plays in the 10. But he's developed into this versatile player who can play maybe on both wings. He can play striker, which he played a false 9, if I'm not mistaken, the whole of last season. And he can play in the 10. Hence, he got 20 assists, you know. So, I think a phenomenal, versatile player. And the signing makes so much more sense, in my opinion. It makes so much more sense because, 1, they won't want ridiculous money, you know. Leipzig gone crazy, you know. 2, there's a direct connection between Leipzig and Rangnick, so that I guess they can soften the deal for us. And 3, I read here on the Manchester Evening News that apparently Manchester United has a good relationship with Christian Nkunku's agent. I don't know who the agent is, but apparently we have a good relationship. And it just ticks so many boxes. You know, he'll come for a good price. He will do a job in the sense that, you know, when we need him to come and fill a position in the attacking areas, he can do it. You know, when Rash is having a stinker, it's okay. We got Christian to do this, you know. We got Christian to fill in on the wing, you know. And I think he's the player we need. Also considering the fact that Ronaldo is going to play so many games, even at his age, he'll play so many games. I think we don't need someone who is going to come out and want to be an out-and-out number 9 when we have the option to have someone like this in Christian Nkunku who can play so many positions in the front line and be so effective. So if you're asking me, Christian Nkunku, Darwin Nunez, Christian Nkunku, any day. It seems like a much easier deal and it seems like the right deal. Even if they bring the price down to, let's say, 60 million for Darwin Nunez, I will still go with Christian because I think maybe at most we'll pay about 60, 65 million, but we'll pay less. That's what I think. I don't know. Maybe I don't know Leipzig as well as maybe you do, you know. So tell me what you think. How much do you think we'll have to pay for this player, you know? I read here on the Manchester Evening News, they're willing to let him go, but only if United match, you know, what they value him. They don't say what they value him, but if United match it, they'll be willing to sell Christian Nkunku. So this seems like a deal that is possible. It seems like a deal that's possible. And I feel like United shouldn't be wasting their time on Darwin Nunez. Honestly, if this deal is possible, if maybe I'm in the talk about some elements about this deal, but if this deal is possible, I don't think we should be wasting our time. I even read on Twitter, what was the source? Patty Gold was the source. Patrick was a source, and they were saying that apparently we are considering making a bid next week. So for me, that's music to my ears. If you make a bid, they accept it. Forget Darwin Nunez. Honestly, forget Darwin Nunez. It is what it is. And yeah, next up, we're gonna talk about centre backs. Centre backs. We have an issue there. We know we have an issue there, and we need to solve it. Even though we bought a centre back last season, we still need to solve it. We probably should have bought more than one last season anyway. And the story right now is about Pau Torres. How you pronounce his name? About Pau Torres and how United have consulted Erik ten Hag about the possibility of signing Pau Torres. And yeah, they've just floated the idea. How do you feel about Pau Torres? He's been on our list since last season. He was second on the list after Varane, so we feel like he can still come in and do a job. And how does he feel about Pau Torres coming in at Manchester United? How does he rate the player? And the Manchester Evening News also says that he has a release clause for about how much? Let me just confirm to you before I lie to you. I don't want to lie to you guys. The release clause is about 60 million. 60 million. So, a lot. I feel it's a lot for Pau Torres. I think if we bought him directly, they'll probably ask what? For that 60 million, I guess. They probably would ask for 60 million because the market is crazy nowadays. The market is ridiculous. I don't think Pau Torres was 60 million. He's a good player, but for me, 45 is a good amount for this player. But the market is just insane nowadays. So 60 million is the release clause I'm reading here. And they probably would have asked about 55, 60 million if we did want to sign him without paying the release clause. So what do I think about this deal? I guess it's all right. I think how many good centre backs are there right now? We were linked to Jules Koundé last season. There hasn't really been much links this year. I don't know why. Because I feel like that's the nature of football. You have a good season. You're the ish. But then you have a season that's not as good. In the spotlight anymore. It seems like you just disappear. On the minds of fans as well. So I don't know. I don't know why we're not looking at it anymore. It's kind of just disappeared. Even talks have just disappeared. But I think Pau Torres could be a good player to come in. I think he's better than Maguire. And Lindelof, I don't know. Lindelof is hot and cold. We've heard that Rangnick doesn't really rate him. So I think this would be an okay deal. If we have no other options, it would be an okay deal. But according to the reports, we do have another option in I'm forgetting his first name, Timber, who is at Ajax right now, who played under Ten Hag, and it is saying in this article in the Manchester Evening News that he was pushing for Timber in when they were consulting him about the possibility of signing Torres. He was saying, I prefer Timber, basically. So for me, that deal just makes so much more sense. Because one, we have a good relationship with Ajax. They're not going to be difficult. They probably won't be. I mean, their mate Eric, is asking for the player. We have a good relationship with them. We will pay them what they want. We're not going to whip them off just because we have Eric or something like that. We'll pay them what they want, and I can bet you now it won't be anywhere close to 60 million. It won't. And yes, maybe Pau Torres is a bit more experienced than Timber, so maybe in that sense he becomes the better option. But let's not forget that Timber is a much better option in the sense that he's worked under Ten Hag. So he knows what he's getting into. He knows who he's signing. He knows that this player is good enough because he's done well at Ajax under him. So in that sense, it becomes so much safer than a player that we're all in the dark about, in the sense that Erik ten Hag hasn't coached him. Yes, we've seen moments from him that are good, maybe at the World Cup, maybe for Villarreal, but he's all right. Ultimately, he hasn't been really pulling up trees. Come on, really? He's a good player, So I think with Timber being cheaper, with him having an existing relationship with Ten Hag, it just seems like the much better option, So I think that's the route we should go down, and I think we should forget about this Torres thing for now. Ultimately, in an ideal world, with Sam Maguire, you get both. That's not gonna happen, But yeah, I would like to see Timber come in. I think that's the better option. But if Torres did have to come in, I wouldn't be angry. I wouldn't be upset. Moving on, we're gonna talk about last incoming. We'll touch on Declan Rice, and some more Lucas is tweeting that it's not gonna happen. The deal's not gonna happen because I think, let me just read properly here. Um, West Ham want ridiculous money, north 100 million, and he wants to play Champions League. He doesn't want to play in the Europa League. And for me, I just kind of feel like Declan Rice really wants to be at Chelsea. Like, he really wants to be at Chelsea. It's the club he supports, it's the club he loves. So that's the destination he wants to be in. And they have Champions League, so it matches. But at the same time, I don't know, I struggle to believe, even though it is from a credible journalist, I struggle to believe that we're just completely out of the water for this deal. I don't think so, you know? I think ultimately, if it's not Chelsea, yes, maybe if Liverpool and Man City offer, he'd choose them over us. And maybe Tottenham. No, I don't know. I don't know about Tottenham. But maybe if Man City and and Liverpool offer, he'd choose them over us. But at the end of the day, we're freaking Manchester United. You know? I know maybe it doesn't sound very threatening, you know? Maybe I'm overselling it a bit, but we're still Manchester United. And I think he will see it as a step up from West Ham to Manchester United. And I think he would do it. I think you'd do it in a heartbeat if there's no other offer, honestly. But in that in itself, that's sad in itself. The fact that we're saying he will only come if there's no other offer. How far we've fallen, you know? So, yeah, I don't believe the whole Champions League thing. I do to a certain extent, but I think if we did offer the amount that West Ham wanted, he would come. But the amount that West Ham want is rubbish. I was thinking of different words that I can't say, but it is rubbish. We are not. If we could, because we're like that at this club. We like the type of signing. We really like the box office signing. We paid 80 million for Maguire. So it's very much in the realms of possibilities that we could offer 110 million to bring Declan Rice to the club, which would make my head explode. So I'm hoping we don't do that, and I'm hoping we use some common sense in this, and you know, we realize that there's so many good players. We could get 2 good players for that amount, you know, which we need. We do need depth. You know, because if we sign, let's say we sign Declan Rice, and then it's probably it in a lot of aspects. One, probably won't get another midfield. Okay, probably won't get 2 midfield anyway, but we won't get another midfield, and we probably sacrifice another player in another position because 110 million or so is ridiculous, you know. So this deal just makes no sense to me. There's so many good players out here, which we can pay half, if not less, than what we're going to pay for Declan Rice. So, yeah, if he can't come, good. Good. Let it stay like that. And yeah, I think we'll wrap up the show with outgoings, you know. Who's going out? I think we have a good idea as fans who is probably leaving the club. But someone like us has tweeted about a lot about our outgoings today. And he talks about first Dean Henderson, and why the deal really, I guess maybe referring to Newcastle, because I feel like that's the only club that's really showing an interest. But why it hasn't moved further along. And apparently Manchester United are hoping to have a replacement in line before they decide to sell, to finalize the sale of Dean Henderson, which makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. I mean, like, you can't sell your backup goalkeeper without a backup option, you know? But I've been a fan of this club for some time now. And I've seen these type of things happen, and then we don't sell him, thus we don't sign. That can't happen. I'd rather have a 70-man squad. I know I'm being ridiculous, I'm exaggerating to make a point. I'd rather have a 70-man squad than play some of these players next season. You know, Dean Henderson is not the biggest culprit. I get that. But some of these players, if I hear these clubs saying we didn't sign because we couldn't sell, I'm flying to England. I'm going to Murtaugh's office. I'm not having it. Next up, we've got Anthony Martial. And someone like us says he already has 1 foot out the door. Good. You can let hit him on his way out. I'm kidding. I'm sorry to Tony FC. I'm sorry, Shanique. I'm sorry. I don't mean it. But like, it hasn't worked. It's like Pogba. In many ways, it's like Pogba. And I don't like saying that because I feel like they've always been targeted together in the media. So I don't like saying that. But it just hasn't worked out with Anthony Martial, you know? I mean, he's gone to Sevilla now, and it just hasn't worked there. I mean, I might be wrong, but I think I read a tweet from Fabrizio Romano about how the is it the CEO or the chairman of Sevilla saying that we're not signing Martial on a permanent because it hasn't worked out. He has injuries and basically saying that it's been a rubbish signing, which is so many red flags. It doesn't want to be at the club. I think he also realized that it hasn't worked out for many reasons. So Tony can go. Tony can go. Honestly, like maybe someone might say, what if we don't sign a striker? Would you not want to give Tony and Ten Hag the opportunity to work together because there's a player in Tony. There's a player in Tony, yes, but I'm sick of that line at this club. There's a player in who? There's a player in that. No, we're freaking Manchester United. Let's sign the players who are going to do the job and let it end there. Let it end there, And yeah, Lacaste concludes his talk on outings by saying that United are prepared to offload Eric Bailly, Axel Tuanzebe, and Phil Jones, which I think is public knowledge by now. We are looking to offload them. And Phil Jones, yeah, nice recovery story. We love the dude. He's part of the furniture by now. He really is, And by saying that, I mean like he's been like, not me saying that he's been an important part of what's been happening in Manchester United. Maybe he has, important part of the failure. But he is part of the furniture in the sense that, he's been at the club so long and we like Phil Jones. I like Phil Jones, the pink boots, we like Phil Jones, So, yeah, it doesn't suck him leaving. It really doesn't. He must go. But we respect Phil Jones. At least I respect Phil Jones, So, yeah, I'm happy to see he's recovered and he's leaving the club. And he's probably going to do well in the club. I can see him in the Premier League. Maybe, I don't know, at Brighton. I don't know. And I can see him shutting a lot of people up, honestly, because there is a player in there. Okay, Eric Bailly. Eric. Oh. And if you watch this channel, you'll know that I'm a champion of Eric Bailly, I think Eric Bailly is a brilliant player, Okay, maybe brilliant is overselling a little. I think he's a good, really good player, And the injuries are a big problem. I don't know if last season he had many injuries. I don't think so. But for some reason, he wasn't really getting picked last season, So, when I say last season, I mean the season that just concluded. I know that can be confusing sometimes in this period of football. But I mean the season that just concluded now. I feel like he hasn't really been picked much, I don't know why. I don't think he was injured that much. But over the years, my God, he gets injured a lot, So, yeah, another, he's symbolic of the failure at this club. Much like you could say Phil Jones is, much like you can say Paul Pogba is to a certain extent, much like you can say Anthony Martial is to a certain extent, So, I think we have to close the chapter, And yeah, we have to sell him. Honestly. And I don't want to hear we couldn't sell him, so we couldn't sign, I don't want to hear that rubbish. And then finally, if there's one player in this list I would keep, it's Axel Tuanzebe. PSG. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What I was referring to, for those of you who don't know, I was referring to that one game where he pocketed Neymar and Mbappe. But if there's one player I would keep on this list, it is Axel Tuanzebe. And I think ideally we sign the centre backs we need and we sell them. Because once again, we need to close these chapters. But if there's one player I would want to give a chance in this list, if I didn't have much of a choice, it is Axel Tuanzebe because, he's young, or he's relatively young, and I hope he's young. I'm not talking about it. But yeah, he's Tuanzebe. And I feel like from the good we've seen here and there, oh God, there's a player in him. I'm doing it again. There's a player in him. But from the good we've seen here and there, I think he has more of the attributes of what we would want at Manchester United, what Ten Hag would want, and what most modern managers would want, than definitely a Maguire, and even though much less experience, obviously, and maybe a Lindelof. He has the pace that we want. And much like Bailly, he hasn't really been given the opportunity to club, which you don't get why. But yeah, it does look like he's leaving. And in an ideal world, they must all leave. And in an ideal world, we have a new 11. That's not going to happen. Except for Ronaldo. But in an ideal world, these players leave that Lacaste talks about and we replace them. And that's just how it is. And the Manchester United revolution continues. But yeah, that's been your transfer roundup. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit a like. Please hit the like if you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. Like the subscriptions have gone up a lot on the channel lately, and we really appreciate that. We really appreciate you being part of our community. We really appreciate you growing with us. And yeah, this is to many more years of the idea and of us talking about this club, talking about how Manchester United is lifting the Premier League titles, lifting Champions League, And yeah, I just want to say that we really appreciate you guys. And yeah, that's just been your transfer roundup from me, your boy Rita. And yeah, I'll check you next time.